Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Sonia and I'm very happy you've stopped by. This past weekend, I was doing a little shopping with my ATF, my afternoon tea friend who wishes to remain anonymous. We were in Northpark Ctr here in Dallas and decided to stop for lunch at the Neiman Marcus cafe. As it was Valentine's weekend, we were happy to see they had a special menu that included afternoon tea, no reservations required. Now, afternoon tea at Neiman's was my first tea review on this channel a year and a half ago. And at the time, it was fine. Parts of it were even very good. But I can tell you this latest experience was truly a 100% improvement. Both food and service were much better, and we were very pleased. We each had a nice-sized pot of tea, me with my usual Earl Grey. It was, again, their French tea in tea bags, but it was of adequate strength, and our waiter checked on us multiple times, often topping off our teacups for us. And when the food came, he gave a good explanation of what we had in front of us, which I always appreciate.
So on the base of the tier, you have 3 types of finger sandwiches. With the chives, you'll have a classic egg salad. Almonds are the Indian chicken salad. Pecans are going to be the tuna salad. Okay. Then you have some mini popovers, some delightful scones, of course, chocolate dipped strawberries, some chocolate tarts, and macarons. So everything festive for the holiday. Please enjoy, ladies.
Thank you very much. Now, in recent afternoon tea experiences, if you've watched some of my other reviews, it has been a real challenge to find fresh tea sandwiches. I mean, dry bread has almost become a thing everywhere we've gone. But I am happy to say these sandwiches were all fresh and really good. Egg salad, tuna salad, and chicken salad, they were all tasty fillings on soft, white bread and the perfect size. It felt like our tea stand was made fresh to order for us instead of being pre-made and sitting there drying out and waiting for customers. You know, the sandwiches were properly sized and nothing was awkward to eat. Then it was time for the fruit scones. Now, they easily broke apart. They weren't dry or crumbly, and they tasted freshly baked and very flavorful. There's still no clotted cream, but they do provide a lovely jam and strawberry butter for the iconic popovers the NM Cafe is known for. As I've said before, I'm not much of a popover fan, but for what they are, they were properly baked. Also on the middle tier, there were wonderful little dark chocolate tarts. Mine was filled with a lemon curd. ATF had one that had a strawberry filling. They were very tasty. As it was Valentine's weekend, there was plenty of chocolate on the tea stand, including chocolate-covered strawberries, which are always a nice touch. And finally, the dessert tier. The heart-shaped hazelnut and raspberry macarons were lovely, not to mention so very tasty. A bite-sized chocolate waffle cone filled with blueberries and slices of strawberries and a little whipped cream wasn't too sweet and therefore helped moderate the intensity of the desserts. And finally, a strawberry cheesecake tart topped with a generous dollop of fresh whipped cream was a nice final touch. We did need a fork for it as the filling was just a little runny, but it was delicious. I mean, the entire experience really was excellent. Now, as for the noise level, it's a cafe first, not a tea room. So you're going to have some noise. But they seated us where we were one of 2 tables in a partition section that kept the noise tamped down a bit, and we could chat without having to yell across the table. Even the cost was better because although it was the same price as last time, $45 per person, this time they did not automatically tack on a 20% gratuity like last time. So the tip was left to us. I do appreciate that. Yes, if I really wanted to get nitpicky, I could say loose leaf tea is always better, scones always need clotted cream, but overall for the whole experience, ATF gave it a 5 out of 5, and I must agree with her. And as I say, the really nice thing is that it was completely unexpected. We didn't have reservations. We just walked up, saw this on the menu. Now, granted, it was a special Valentine's menu, but still a delightful surprise. When I asked the waiter if this was what people could expect for tea all the time, he said the food options, the desserts might be a little different from day to day, but for the most part, yes. Now, at the Neiman's tea, the sugar or sweetener on the table was all served in packets, and that's not unusual in a restaurant setting. And sugar is essential on any tea table. But at home, when hosting afternoon tea, sugar in cubes is best, simply because it's neater and easier to handle than a spoonful of loose sugar, which can spill. But have you shopped for sugar cubes lately? They're a tad pricey, especially if they're tinted in different colors or pressed into unique shapes. I recently saw an offer on Etsy for homemade tinted sugar cubes in a color of your choice, 80 of them, which is a lot, but for $15. That's almost 20 cents a cube. I want to show you how simple it is to make your own. And most of what you need, you already own. Sugar, water, food coloring, and if you want, a cute candy mold. For one of the shapes I created, I used this silicone mold of crowns. I like the silicone because the flexibility makes it easier to get the cubes out when I'm ready to do that. I'll leave a link if you want to shop for something like this. You can also do this with those firm plastic candy molds. You'll just need to tap them out on the counter to remove them. So to do this, in a small bowl, start with half a cup of any granulated sugar. In this case, I used light brown sugar because that's the color I wanted for these crowns. Then in a separate little condiment bowl, I put 1½ teaspoons, that's half of a tablespoon, of water. The reason I don't dump it all into the sugar at once, I don't want to add too much liquid. If the mix gets too wet, it'll take much longer to harden up, and there's even the risk of losing the definition on the design. So I add just a little at a time to the sugar and stir until it's mixed. I like using a fork. I think it's easier to mix that way. And you can always just add a little more water as you go. It should look like crumbly, damp sand once you're done. Then, using a very small spoon, I carefully fill each mold, pressing firmly to get all the detail. Now, be mindful of how deep your mold is. You don't want sugar cubes that are too big. This particular mold that I have of the crowns is rather deep because it's probably meant more for candies or chocolates. So I'm not really interested in filling it all the way to the top. I just want to get it nice and firmly packed in. And once completed, I put the silicone mold on a baking sheet. It's so flexible, it's too bendy and might crack the cubes ahead of time if it's moved around. Now, some of us, myself included, are trying to cut down on sugar a little bit. I know that might sound ridiculous when talking about afternoon tea with all the wonderful little sweets on the tea tray, but we cut where we can. That's why I want to show you how this can even work with an alternative sweetener. I used monk fruit extract with erythritol. It looks and tastes like sugar, and it bakes at a 1-to-1 ratio, just like sugar. So that's why this works. So the same measurements for everything. Half a cup of monk fruit sweetener, and then to that, 1½ teaspoons of water. Now, this time I wanted to color the cubes, so I added a little food coloring to the water, just a drop. Then I mix that in really well before adding it to the sweetener. Now for these cubes, I use this beautiful butterfly silicone mold, and each one of these molds is a little more shallow than the crown molds. Now again, I wanted to start with just a small amount of water first. I wanted to try a lighter pink color. You're really just looking for a consistency that's packable. And again, the butterfly molds are more shallow, so the same half cup of sweetener is going to make a few more of these. After a couple of rows of the lighter pink, I added just a little more water that included more color and got a darker butterfly. Once done, I covered both tray molds with a tea towel to dry overnight. You can use a paper towel if you prefer. And next day, just about 24 hours later, this was the result. Perfectly lovely little crowns of brown sugar. See how easily they pop out of the silicone molds? Now, time for the butterflies of alternative sweetener. They're completely firm with beautiful detail. Interestingly, the darker butterflies ended up in a two-tone of light and dark color. I have no idea why, but I love it. Wouldn't these be lovely on your tea table? Now, you may have heard there's another method to this where you pop these in a low oven for an hour and then take them out and they're done. But I gotta tell you, I have never had any luck with that. My sugar cubes just melt. I think everyone's oven is different. Calibrations can be off. Ovens have hot spots. There's just too much risk of failure. The overnight to 24-hour method works, practically foolproof, and I like that it's sort of a set it and forget it method. Also, regarding the food coloring, know that it will impact the color of your tea. Now, that could be fun if you have a light golden tea and you add a blue sugar cube, it'll go a little green. But know then that if you add milk to that, it'll go a little murky, muddy, and a bit less appetizing. So it won't taste different, of course, but it just looks odd. And of course, if you don't want to color your sugar, you don't have to. Plain white and brown sugar will make a lovely contrast on their own. And there you have it, your own easily made sugar cubes for your next afternoon tea in a design of your own making. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and will give it a thumbs up by hitting that like button. And if you're so inclined, hit that subscribe button too for more afternoon tea videos. Until next time, bye-bye.